So I just had a couple of negligent discharges here without having my finger on the trigger of this NFA PCC. Well, what happened is I would pull the trigger, nothing would go bang, figure out why. As soon as I pulled this bolt back, it would fire. Let's see if we can re-simulate that. Okay, we're out. This time I'm going to try to release the trigger faster, see if it will shoot that time. Nope. We're going to keep trying this to simulate the issue. I don't know if it's a trigger issue. It could be a trigger issue. Didn't have that earlier this whole day while I was sighting it in. It's like the bolt maybe not be going back far enough to reset the trigger. Then when it was maybe half cocked or something and you pulled this back, it finished it off. All right, can't reproduce it now. Something in here is probably a little bit different after I've shot a few times, but I'm gonna talk to NFA about that on this PCC. Okay, so I just got back from the range and relaxed a little bit. Now I wanted to take a look deeper into this 9mm PCC from NFA. I haven't looked at it yet, but I was having issues where, let's just try to simulate it. I was able to, rack the slide, fire it, and then kept my finger on the trigger for the reset, and then nothing would happen for some reason. So I don't know, let's open it up, take it apart and see what it is. I don't know if it's a trigger issue, if the bolt is not sending the trigger all the way back to reset. Well, let's see here. Oh, wow. Do you guys see what I see here? It looks like there's something in the bolt, like the trigger right here should be going through this slot here in the bolt to hit the hammer, right? I mean, I'm new to the PCCs, but I think this is just part of like a counterweight in the bolt, which should not be free floating like that. And that makes sense now why I was able to fire the gun by pulling the charging handle. When I pulled this back, either, the hammer was somehow then able to break free and go in there, or this weight somehow was able to hit the firing pin here, setting off a round. Quite dangerous situation here. I've never seen this issue before because, I'm new to PCCs, but let's take a look. So, so there's a set screw here that's supposed to lock into there. I don't know if it's supposed to be that deep of a groove or something, but wow, okay, that you can see the hex head on that set screw, but it's actually completely broken off. I don't know if you guys can see this hole through there. Let's see if we can get on camera there. There you go, maybe. Yep, so you can definitely see that is not right. Something broke in there. This lodged loose, and this could have been a deadly situation. This was an accidental discharge. I did not negligently fire the gun. I didn't even have my finger on the trigger when this happened. I just had a malfunction. The gun didn't fire, and I wanted to clear the weapon to see what the issue was or open the chamber. So I pulled the charging handle, and that's when the gun just went off. I've never had a gun go off by pulling the charging handle. So that's the situation here. So hopefully NFA will, New Frontier Armory, hopefully they will make this right and take a look at this from their supplier, because this could have caused deadly or bodily harm. Because if you're, luckily I always point the firearm down range, but if some Joe Schmo doesn't really know what they're doing with guns and they're looking around, peeking around at it, and they try to pull it back, even though the finger's off the trigger, the gun still could fire. So yeah, that's the issue. This weight broke off of the bolt and we need to get this fixed. All right, but I'll talk to NFA and maybe we'll come back to you guys and give you an update. I'm an ambassador for NFA, and I definitely want to make sure I'm repping a good brand, a brand that's going to take care of things and make things right and have good quality assurance and, don't have any potential safety risks here. So there we go. Thanks for watching here, guys. We'll come back to you in a little bit. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys remember in the first video of this New Frontier Armory PCC review with the 9mm and 10mm carbines, you'll notice that the review didn't go so well because I had a lot of malfunctions and issues going on. But I contacted New Frontier Armory and I think I've got it all figured out and fixed. And so let's check it out today in this video. Okay, so if you guys remember with the 9mm PCC, I didn't really have any feeding issues, but I had a problem with the bolt, which you guys can see earlier with this counterweight being broken. There was a set screw up here on top, and the set screw broke, and this weight was moving back and forth, and that's why I was getting negligent discharge or accidental discharge. They weren't negligent, they were accidental because I was shooting, didn't get a shot. I was wondering, what's going on? Let's check the bolt. As soon as I pulled the charging handle back, the gun fired. So it was always good to keep the gun pointed down range. Safety is a big issue, and that was a big safety problem. But contacted New Frontier Armory, they took it very seriously, and I showed them all the pictures and the evidence and the videos and everything, sent it back to them, and they sent me a different bolt carrier group. This one is from one of their earlier models. I guess it's the Gen 1 or so, where it actually has a pin that goes all the way through the bolt carrier group and really locks that weight inside of there. So that's definitely not moving. Hopefully that doesn't fail. It shouldn't fail, but they should probably go back to this design because it's a much better design, a better safety design versus a set screw that had potential to break. Now, I wasn't shooting anything too serious out of it, just 9mm 147 grain, which isn't that part of a shooting round. It's usually light recoil, low velocity. So I'm not sure why or how that broke so quickly on the first range day with that, when I only shot maybe about 1 or 2 magazines worth, or maybe around 40, 50 rounds. So let's check it out now. Let's see if it's all fixed. We got other than that, I guess everything else should work. The last round bolt hold open should work because I don't think I had issues with that last time. And the only issue was those misfiring. So not going to show you guys loading this on camera because that's not allowed. And we're ready to go here now. Let's put the sight up and let's just see how well this cycles now. Oh, I think it's pretty good. Man, this thing is dead accurate. I love PCCs. Really nice group on that steel over there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the BCG now. Here we go. Everything looks like it's still solid and everything inside of there. Firing pin, everything looks good. So I'm pretty confident now that this is not going to break and we'll be fine with this PCC. Oh, and by the way, I do have this muzzle rise eliminator now on this PCC. Go ahead and check that video. I'm going to make a real quick video of this comparison with the previous video because I'm not going to take this on and off. I'm just going to compare the shots side by side and we'll see how much that actually reduces the recoil. That actually felt great with the 147 grain without a lot of recoil. All right, so now let's move on to the 10mm and see if I've got that figured out. I reached out to New Frontier Armory about this last round bolt hold open for the 10mm, and they told me that I'm going to have to bend this area right here where the hook is 45 degrees. So let's show you guys kind of what it looks right now. So if we hold it up like this, oriented like this, so the flat part is just under my finger there. I need to move that 45 degrees. I'll show you guys a little bit more in the pictures that they sent me, but we need to do this on the vise, so let me show you guys that setup real quick. So New Frontier Armory says that it's best to do this in a vise. Basically what we're going to need to do is hold this in the vise like this or so, or maybe I'll do it like this. But what we need to do, try to show you this with my hand behind it. We need to take this hooked end. You can see this part that was grounded down. That hooked end needs to go 45 degrees that way. So we don't want to affect this angle here or this angle here. Keep this 90 degrees. What's going to happen is this sharp end basically needs to go that way. So let's go ahead and show you guys that. Okay, so here I have it in the vise, like that. If you can see a good angle of that, we're gonna take this end and we're gonna twist it basically that way, 45 degrees or so. So that's it, doesn't take much at all. As you can see, now it's angled that way a little bit more. We're gonna put this back in real quick and see how it works. So with the 10mm, I was wondering if I was having issues with the last round bolt hold open option with the ETS mags because I was having issues where the bolt would stay open on the second to last round or the last round. And so I got a few more different magazines. These were a good deal. They are the SHK magazines and then a standard original Glock OEM 15 round magazine. So all of these are 30 round magazines, it looks like. And so we're gonna try all of these out, 5 rounds in each magazine. We're gonna see if the last round bolt hold open works and like it should. And so I also mentioned earlier that for the 10mm to work properly with the last round bolt hold open option, the round is fatter and bigger than the 9mm. So because of that, the last round bolt hold open option spring or wire was just grazing at the top of the bullet here in the front. And every time the gun would try to cycle, that wire for that last round bolt hold open would contact that just so slightly and mess up the feeding properly into the feed ramp. It wasn't a lot, but it was affecting the feeding reliability. reliably. So I reached out to New Frontier Armory about how to fix it because I was having issues with that. I mean, I was actually having two issues. One, feeding was crap and it wasn't feeding reliably. Second, the last round bolt hold open option wasn't locking back when the magazine was empty. So they contacted me back and they said the solution is the last round bolt hold open option for both of those problems. So we're gonna find out if that works. I already modified the last round bolt hold open option. I showed you guys that earlier. Basically, you just need to move that wire a little bit forward so that it gets off of the front of the bullet here and that it touches more of the magazine follower when you're empty. So we'll go ahead and load this up. We're gonna shoot 5 rounds of all 4 magazines. We'll verify that it's not a magazine issue and that it really was the last round bolt hold open option spring that we had to, I don't want to know if I call it a spring, but that wire that we needed to adjust it, okay? All right, and one final thing that I would like to note, the ejection pattern of these 2 PCCs is very strong, very positive. You probably saw in the video, but I had bullets going about 10, 15 feet over there. So really good ejection and no issues there. So if it looks different, it's because it is different. So I'm out here on a different day. When I originally filmed or tried to film this shooting of the 10mm to show you guys that it runs flawlessly, for some reason the video didn't record. So we're gonna do it again today and then we'll splice this into the video. But we'll go ahead and try again a couple of different magazines. Right now we'll try the ETS Glock magazine 30 rounder. This is the one that I originally had, my very first one for the PCC that was giving me issues, or I thought was giving me issues, but turns out it was actually the last round bolt hold open pin. So with the power of magic, YouTube won't let us show you loading magazines into rifles or guns like this. So there it is. All right, so let's go ahead and put one in the chamber here. This one I put in 20 rounds. It's a 30 round mag. I didn't fully use 30, but the point is just to show that this is finally cycling now, or we're gonna find out if it really does. It's a little bit colder today too, around 30 degrees, and maybe that'll be a little bit different than when I was originally filming. So let's go ahead and check it out, see how it goes. Well, it's going good so far. Nice, okay, so last round bolt hold open option did work. You can see that the bolt did hold back. Everything's working good now, flawlessly. The rounds were cycling in through the feed ramp without any issues. And that original problem of the feeding was solved by bending that wire of the last round bolt hold open wire because it was slightly dragging on the top of this case of the cartridge here, and that was not allowing the bolt to push the round into the chamber without interference because that light pressure on top there was just letting the nose of the bullet get all cockeyed before it was able to enter the feed ramp. So here I have another magazine. This is only a 15 round magazine loaded up with, looks like 8 rounds or so. We'll go ahead and try this around just to see how the last round bolt hold open option works again for a different magazine, just to kind of try out some different options here. So here we go again, YouTube magic. There we go. All right, now we'll just close the bolt. I'm just gonna push this right here. You'll see it. You'll see that everything goes in smoothly. Great, okay, let's go ahead and finish off this. Figured I'd do a little bit of rapid fire there at the end there. So anyway, yeah, that last round bolt hold open did work again. We'll go ahead and, I don't know if I can show this. All right, so the magazine's out. You can see that there might be a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of marring on the top of the follower there where the last round bolt hold open wire contacts, but I think that's going to be, that plastic's going to be pretty robust. It won't get chewed up as long as you have that in the right position. So, all right, guys, there you go. There you have it. 2 New Frontier Armory PCCs, pistol caliber carbines. I really want them to produce a muzzle rise eliminator like I have on the 9mm for the 10mm, and they said they will eventually get to that. But in general, with these rifles, I think they run very nicely, very, very nicely. They shoot really good. My first video will show that I had a lot of hiccups and problems with them, but the customer service at New Frontier Armory is really top notch. And I think, you know, a lot of PCCs that you build on your own or build with mil specs and pieces like this, they all gonna kind of go through their own tuning phase where you just have to work out a few different tweaks. with the 9mm. It was just a very bad issue with the bolt, but that's been solved now. I showed you guys that. But other than that, the 9mm worked flawlessly. I didn't even have to touch the last round bolt hold open wire. The 10mm, everything worked good except for the feeding issues, which was the problem with the last round bolt hold open option. I think it's because the last round bolt hold open wire for 9mm, it's working fine in its original stock position. With the 10mm, that wire does need to be a little bit bent, and I showed you guys how to do that. That's just because the cartridges are different and longer and bigger and everything, so it kind of gets in the way when it's feeding. So other than that, guys, if you have any questions about the New Frontier Armory NFA 10mm or 9mm PCCs, let me know in the comment section. If you want more of these videos or what you'd like to see from these carbines, let me know in the comment section, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys like it and come back around next time.